Hello dear friend. I am Julio Cesar Machado. This video was produced using 100% technological tools. I still don't have the resources to create a suitable place or recording studio. In this video the subject will be about the Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction. A lot of plants and animals were extinct in this historic event, including the famous dinosaurs. The more accepted hypothesis. The Alvarez hypothesis. The original hypothesis is the basis for several subsequent variations on the theme that a large extraterrestrial object collided with the Earth, its impact throwing up enough dust to cause the climatic change. The power of the impact. The collision would have released the same energy as 100 million megatons of TNT, 4.2 times 1023 J, over a billion times the energy of the atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Consequences after the impact. According to abundant geological evidence, an asteroid roughly 10 kilometers, roughly 6 miles, across hit Earth about 65 million years ago. This impact made a huge explosion and a crater about 180 kilometers, roughly 110 miles, across. Debris from the explosion was thrown into the atmosphere, completely blocked the sunlight, severely altering the climate, and leading to the extinction of roughly 3/4 of species that existed at that time, including the dinosaurs. Other killer effects included tsunamis, a global firestorm, and soot from burning plants. Acid rain and acidification of the oceans. The oceans soured into a deadly sulfuric acid stew after the huge asteroid impact that wiped out the dinosaurs, a new study suggests. A new model of the disaster finds that the impact would have inundated Earth's atmosphere with sulfur trioxide, from sulfate-rich marine rocks called anhydrite vaporized by the blast. Once in the air, the sulfur would have rapidly transformed into sulfuric acid, generating massive amounts of acid rain within a few days of the impact, according to the study, published today, March 9, in the journal Nature Geoscience. The model helps explain why most deep-sea marine life survived the mass extinction while surface dwellers disappeared from the fossil record, the researchers said. The intense acid rainfall only spiked the upper surface of the ocean with sulfuric acid, leaving the deeper waters as a refuge. The model could also account for another extinction mystery, the so-called fern spike, revealed by a massive increase in fossil fern pollen just after the impact. Ferns are one of the few plants that tolerate ground saturated in acidic water, the researchers said. Evidences about object impact. The iridium layer is what prompted the Alvarez team to blame an asteroid impact for the extinction. Asteroids and similar extraterrestrial bodies are higher in iridium content than the Earth's crust, so they figured that the iridium layer must be composed of the dust from the vaporized meteor. More evidences. Other evidence was also reported. The presence of shocked quartz in the rocks of the Cretaceous Tertiary boundary, indicating the passage of a shock wave so powerful that it actually rearranged the crystal structure of quartz grains, glassy spheres that looked like impact ejecta, molten rock that solidified into droplets when cooled, and a soot layer was found in many areas, evidence for widespread forest fires. The likelihood that massive hurricanes and firestorms would have raged across the Earth was also hypothesized, adding to the destructive power of the catastrophe. And about the crater. No crater was found, but it was assumed that one existed that was about 65 million years old and 100 kilometers, about 65 miles, in diameter. Later research found a likely candidate for the crater at Chicxulub, on the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. More asteroids can be involved. It also was suggested that rather than one impact, several impacts, of comets or meteors, could have occurred over a period of many years, and the effects happened gradually. The vulcanism and tectonic activity hypothesis. It is necessary to remember that these two hypotheses are connected, since there is no volcanism without movement in the tectonic plates, and the same goes for the opposite direction. Some researchers work with these events separately, and others work with two events together. Volcanism. We are quite certain that the end of the Cretaceous period that there was increased volcanic activity. Over a period of several million years, this increased volcanism could have created enough dust and soot to block out sunlight, producing the climatic change. In India during the late Cretaceous, huge volcanic eruptions were spewing forth floods of lava which can be seen today at the Cretaceous Tertiary boundary. These ruptures in the Earth's surface are called the Deccan Traps. The chemical composition of the lava rocks in India shows that they originated in the Earth's mantle, which is also relatively rich in iridium. This richness would explain the iridium layer. Plate tectonics. Major changes in the organization of the continental plates, continental drift, were occurring at the Cretaceous-Tertiary boundary. The oceans, especially the interior seaway in North America, were experiencing a regression. They were receding from the land. A less mild climate would have been the result, and this would have taken a long time. Large-scale tectonic events did occur in the Mesozoic several times, and no extinction events have been conclusively associated with them yet. Note that these two above hypotheses are inextricably tied together. Volcanism cannot occur without the action of plate tectonics, and vice versa. If the extinction was intrinsic and gradual, both processes probably played a role. Some researchers believe that everything is a combination of all these events that caused the mass extinction. Doubts that still exist. The extinction selectivity. Why some organisms were wiped out, while others were unaffected. Extinction process timeline. It is not certain whether there is a gradual decline in the global fossil record, or if there was a sudden catastrophe. Some studies in some areas show evidence pointing to different answers. Conclusion. There is still no global agreement on the extinction of dinosaurs in the scientific community, and from what can be seen today, this topic will still be a subject of study and discussion for many years. If you watched the video until now, don't forget to like it, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Goodbye.